Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Gaming the System, the podcast where three intersectional feminists examine gaming and games through a feminist lens. Today I am your host Matt, and I'm joined by my friends Alex and Jem. Before we get started, if you want to support us, you can subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamingthesystem for some exclusive content, or you can send us a one-off donation via PayPal to our email address wearegamingthesystem@gmail.com.
So we are back, and for the second episode featuring these three lovely people, and we've got our guest back, Finn, who was here for our first conversation on Baldur's Gate 3, which was undertaken before I'd even played the game. And then we'll go through our hour count as well at the start as well. So I've played for nearly 200 hours, I think. Alex?
I think at this point we haven't actually finished. Me and my partner, we're playing co-op. We've played somewhere in the region of 140 hours, but we're in the final act.
And Jem?
Oh, I'm just looking through me because I thought it was about 200 hours, but now I'm thinking maybe it's more than that. Do you want to go to Finn and come back to me?
Yep, Finn, throwing it to you.
It's 693.
Oh, I can't do
and
that.
I am not normal.
No. Well, it just shows that different people. Like I spent 1,000 hours in Hitman last year.
Nice.
So it just goes to show when people think, oh, I'm not normal in one game, you just go, oh, you're normal in that game. That's normal. Good. That amount of time is goals.
Matt,
So yeah,
Matt, can I explain to you some of the ways I'm not normal about this?
go ahead.
I have an Astarian tattoo.
Where?
That's
I've
so
taken on my thigh.
Okay.
I've taken pictures with most of the cast at this point. I have an Astarian woolen stitched blanket that I got shipped over from the US. Yeah, I've
It's a
fallen
very
into
thirsty one.
Very thirsty.
I've fallen deep down this rabbit hole.
It's such a deep rabbit hole. So that's why it's so wildly popular, and I'm really glad we got this the collages done, because it gives a glimpse into our minds of how we see these characters. Jem, have you found what your hour count is?
Yeah, 269 hours
Nice.
so far.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm lagging behind Finn, but
Good, that's healthy.
Right. So the format for this episode is going to be, we have a list of all of the main characters, mainly the companions. We've all submitted a fan casting for most of the characters, and we're going to go through the characters in a random order to start off with, and we'll see where it leads us, and show you the collages as we go along. So first, I've spun the wheel, and it is Halsin, the big bear dude. And let's see, who have we?
oh yeah.
So to describe, we've got in the top left-hand corner. Who is that?
That is my guy who's. Stop asking me difficult questions, Matt. Come back to me. He's the guy who plays the Vikings.
Yeah.
Travis Fimmel.
Vikings guy. Yes, that's it.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, he's fabulous. So
Yeah.
Travis Fimmel, top left, and on top right we have got, of course,
Mr. Sion Bion.
Sion Bion. Yeah, he didn't die in this one. Fortunately, he
Did
didn't
he
die. I
not?
don't think he died. It took me until my fourth playthrough to realise, oh, you can actually have him as a companion. He was just sat in.
really?
He was sat in my camp for 2 acts.
Oh,
Just,
really?
I'd talk to him and go,
Whoops.
"Should we? You all right here?" And he goes, "Yes, I do miss being in the greenery of the other place that I've been." Okay, Halsin, I'll see you in a bit.
I mean, you can murder him in the goblin camp.
You can. Yes, I've not, and I think only one of you has submitted something for Minthara, and that's Alex. Interesting. So that would suggest that you
Oh.
slaughtered all of the.
I think Finn did. Did I? Not maybe
Well,
I
I
didn't send
just-
it over.
Was basing my list on other people's lists. So,
Oh, I see.
but yes.
Okay. So
Ninthara is my second favourite companion. I most certainly picked one.
really,
I think we may have killed her in my playthrough, but I don't know.
Jem hasn't submitted one on your behalf. Do you want to have it? Do you want to think of
Yeah,
one
I'm
as
just
we?
looking.
I'm sure you've got one as well.
Yeah, no,
Um,
Lena. She's there at the bottom. Lena Haddy.
Okay. Let's see if I can.
Or is it Heedy? Hedy.
I believe
love
it's
her.
Hetty.
I think she would make an excellent Minthara.
She would. Halsin, my one is Henry Cavill in his Geralt of Rivia guise, where he's because he's big and he's buff and he's berry, and he can do. Halsin's very chilled out, very. I love the nature and everything. So I think Henry Cavill would enjoy doing that.
Yeah.
And
I would definitely happily take him into the forest. That's a bit of objectification, isn't it?
Yeah.
My only issue with, because I thought Henry Cavill initially, but my only thought is Henry Cavill sort of has an intensity to him, and Halsin's very laid back. And I think
Yes, that's true.
that was my only hesitancy with Henry Cavill, because otherwise, perfect.
I suppose he could be like that's bear mode. Henry Cavill is him in bear mode, and Sean Bean is him in chilled out woodland mode. Okay, and number 4, Alex is
Luke Evans, who, if you don't know who he is, he played Gaston in the live-action version of Beauty and the Beast, and was also the dad in the Hobbit, the guy from, the boatman. I forget what
Is
his
it
actual
Bard?
character's name was.
Bard the Woodman?
Yes,
Bard the Bowman, not the Woodman. Jesus Christ. That's a Freudian slip there.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
big.
yeah, and also because obviously the character in game has a slight Welsh accent, I was like, who's Welsh and fit? We'll go with Luke Evans. He's also pretty well beefed up, relatively.
Yeah.
So yeah, I reckon that was a good choice.
Yeah.
I will say it's very difficult to find somebody, again, who has chill but is also that beefed up.
Yeah,
in real
Yeah.
life. It's kind of an unrealistic body standard there, Halsin.
Talking of unrealistic body standards, did have any of you? You don't have to share if not. Taken him to bed in bear form.
Yes.
I did that last night.
Did you, Jem?
Jem?
No, I didn't. You all think I'm lying, don't you? No.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have anything to do with it because I was too engaged with Gale. So, didn't have room for anyone else because Gale was like, you're mine, or, it's an exclusivity thing. And
That's fascinating.
That's fair.
That's fascinating because because I only realised you could have any conversation with him other than how you're getting on over here, and you try and I don't know if when I came onto him in the first act, he said, "Whoa, slow down there, cool your horse," and I was like, "Oh, okay," and then he barely speaks to me for the rest of it. But yeah, he's a middling character in my opinion.
I can't think of a way you could make that man not romance you. I've done 6 runs now. I haven't managed it.
Yeah. He's so complimentary. It's hard to resist.
He was always quite flirty with me.
So what we're going to do, I want to move on to the next one. If I say right, we're going to move on to the next one, and you've got more to say, just speak, and we'll go from there. Okay, cool. Right, next we're going to spin the wheel, and a very fan favourite, Shadowheart.
Hey.
I think we've got one too many in there.
I was going to say we have 5.
We have 5 Shadowhearts. I think I think one of them.
I think Leah Seydoux was my Minthara, so the top left shouldn't be there.
And I think yes. So we've got 2. So remove her from your mind for now.
Yes.
And imagine her later on. So we'll go for the top right. We've got on top right, whose is that?
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey
That was
Plaza.
me. Everything that I have seen her in, she's unapproving and deadly.
Yeah, she's a good Shadowheart, actually.
Yeah, she's got that very, like, she's extremely funny, but always looks like she shouldn't have a sense of humour. She always looks like she's just sick of everyone around her.
Sardonic.
Sardonic.
I think is the word that comes to mind.
Absolutely. My one bottom left is Emma Darcy, and I think that they have shown up in other roles in yours lists, in some of your lists. Just they have that real iciness, because Shadowheart is the epitome of ice, because she doesn't have any memories and she's just this. I don't like zealotry, which is one thing that I didn't, that puts me off people like Shadowheart and Lae'zel when they're just their goal in life is walking the path of a religion or idolism or something. But then you see Shadowheart has a playfulness to her that once you get under her skin a bit, you find that out a bit. And you just need to see a picture of Emma Darcy in House of the Dragon mode, and then a picture of her in an interview with one of, can't remember what her name is. She plays Alicent Hightower. And Olivia Cook. Then, and you just see that like giggliness is there as well, and so I think Emma Darcy was my perfect one for her. That being said, I haven't actually watched Emma Darcy in anything. I've only seen the interviews with the 2 of them, and that's enough to like show what an incredible actor they are. Next in the bottom middle.
I think that's me. That is Katie McGrath. But before we talk about her, I wanted to say that I'd originally thought about having Ava Green, but I felt that Ava is a little bit too old to play Shadowheart, and then Matt pointed out that Shadowheart is supposedly 40, and I was like, well, she doesn't look 40 or behave like she's 40. So I was wondering, is she a half elf? I couldn't remember.
Yes.
Yes, so that's why she looks young, because 40 in half elf years is quite young, isn't it? Because they age slightly slower than humans. But even so, she doesn't. Yeah, she behaves more like 20 something, I think.
In her defence, she's amnesiac.
That is true. That is true. So, yeah, she hasn't got that memory. But she seems to know quite a lot of stuff for an amnesiac. So, I don't know. But, yeah, I suppose. Anyway, subsequently, I decided that Ava was too old, even though I love the actress. So, I went for Katie McGrath, who you might know from... She played Morgana in Merlin.
Oh, yes, that's right.
She was in Supergirl and Jurassic World. And I think she's got that... She's got the right sort of face shape. Yeah. For me, I think, and and something about her that worked for me for this role. I think she could carry it off. That sort of like you were saying, Matt. That sort of obsessive, religious kind of attitude. I think she could probably do that.
Is it because this is something that I thought when I first. Because it's just from a line of dialogue that Shadowheart says, I think, when she finds out something about her parents or something, a revelation. It goes, I dedicated 40 years of my life to this.
Oh, yeah.
And you go, oh. And then my immediate thing was she doesn't look or behave like she's in her 40s. But then that brings up the interesting question of how should someone in their 20s and in their 40s look and behave compared to when they're in their 20s?
Absolutely.
How is she not behaving like somebody who's 40?
I think she's too. The problem I have with Shadowheart is that she's a little bit naive. She's a little bit. She's not. She's single-minded, so perhaps that's where I'm picking up on, which of course she is single-minded because that's she's on a mission. So yeah, I suppose. But she just seems a little bit petulant. I mean, Astarion is the most petulant of all of them, and he's probably one of the older ones. So, I think it's yeah. But I think it just goes to show, doesn't it, that that we so often have younger actresses playing sort of older women, older characters. We very often have a sort of visually a bit of a distinction between the male actors and the female actors in Hollywood, and maybe that feeds into the game world a bit. So
The clearest thing I've come across recently is in the Dune movies, where Rebecca Ferguson is 13 years older than Timothée Chalamet in real life.
Ooh.
And you go, I should probably do something about that.
But also, how old is Timothée Chalamet?
He's not that old, I don't think.
Mid to late 20s,
Yeah.
I think. Interesting.
He's a 29-year-old man playing a 15-year-old boy.
With a 41-year-old mother.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not good. Although interestingly, how old do you think? Do you know how old Eva Green is?
no,
I don't know who that is.
She's Vesper from Casino Royale.
she was born in 1980.
Makes her.
So
She's 44. And
yeah,
do you know how old
she's younger than me.
Do you know how old Katie McGrath is?
No, she's 60.
She's 42.
But you see, I also think that Ava. The other thing that put me off Ava is that she's a little bit too slight, I think, to play. That is one of the biggest problems I had, was looking for sort of women that actually look like they could hold a sword, or actually hold their own in a fight. But then I suppose Shadowheart's not exactly.
What is her strength stat?
It's not massive, I don't think. I can't remember.
Also,
Can't be lower than her, whatever, dexterity. She never ever hit anything.
Yeah.
She was constantly
No.
missing.
Always missing.
Well, Finn looks at that. Who is the final one?
That's my pick, and that's Mary Elizabeth Winstead, who you might know from Scott Pilgrim versus the World, and also the latter Die Hard movies as well. I think she plays McLean's daughter. But I thought, I think she's 39. I don't know how old she is. I might be wrong. But yeah, she's just giving me, she looks like she is tough enough to play the darker sides of Shadowheart, if that makes sense.
Have we all completed the Temple of Grief? It's called
the House of Grief.
House of Grief. Have you done that bit, Alex?
Don't know. Wait, was that the bit with Raphael and where afterwards Shadowheart goes back to the light? Is that right?
No, it's
This is the
the temple where. Does someone else describe it quickly in a better way
It's
than
the
me?
Temple of Shah.
Oh yeah, no, I've done
Oh
it.
yeah, the shaft. Yeah.
Yeah. So we
Yeah.
know.
In Baldur's Gate,
Yeah.
which is one of the most. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
One of the most bullshit
Yeah.
fights in the entire game. Like, once you figure it out, it's fine. But the first time you do it, you're just like, what? No.
Is this when you go into and see you surrounded by people immediately?
You are surrounded by people on all
Oh
sides.
my gosh,
and
there's
that's
so
fair
many.
enough. But the fact that they all use darkness,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
not a mechanic that anybody else uses, and therefore you will most likely not be prepared for. And you have to spend the entire fight blind
Yeah.
or a wizard who took dark vision.
Well,
the
it helped
special
that my
wizard
character
version.
had dark vision. So.
No,
Yeah,
there's
that was
an
reasonably
extra
okay.
wizard
But yeah.
thing that means you can, but yeah, not wizard, warlock. I'm awake. Also, just I need this noted for later, is that Shadowheart has a strength stat of 13.
Okay.
Because when
Okay.
we get to the boys, the other boys, I'm gonna have thoughts.
I've discovered on one of my later playthroughs that have any of you gone to the crone witch hag woman in the
Yes.
first act? She offers to go behind your eye and get it out, and then
Yeah.
of course that doesn't work. And she says, "Oh, don't worry," and tosses you a dark vision eye, so you can see dark vision things. That was awesome. I love. Oh no, it wasn't her. It was the bard bloke.
Yeah, it's the bar.
Who tries to-
That's your sea invisibility eye.
Yeah.
Volo. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the hag did to me.
I think the
She
hag
does try and
take
take
one of
your
those.
Oh
eyes.
yeah, she gives you
Yeah.
one of those pustule things that
Yeah.
increase you. That there.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, I didn't let
thank you, Ethel.
didn't let anyone take my eye out. Thank you very
No,
much.
I said no. No, thank you.
I just assumed it wouldn't work and went from there.
I found Volo's eye to be quite helpful, but also they do not shy away in that scene. They're like, "Oh, you're committed to this ice pick lobotomy, are you? Okay. We're gonna make this super uncomfortable."
Okay, I think we'll move on to our third one. Spinning the wheel now, and this will be an interesting one. Gale.
Oh, I
I'll
got
be-
married to Gale.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah.
You managed to stop him being a god.
So,
Interesting.
Gale. I will preface this because this is really interesting from the descriptions you've given already. One of my two least favourite characters. I didn't like him in the slightest, and it just
Oh, do go
so because I just thought he was a. It comes to you as a level 1 wizard going, oh, I was just. My problem is I was having sex with the goddess of magic, and I was one of the most powerful wizards to ever walk the earth. And then I tried to impress my girlfriend with something that she didn't want and didn't care about and didn't matter. I just did entirely for myself. And then I've got this thing in my chest now that's going to kill me, oh boo-hoo. And it just, the only thing that set him apart for me was that he's so powerful. Wizards are super powerful. But then I was able to dispel that by making myself a wizard in one of my other playthroughs. But I just wanted to put my cards out there first, so it's not a surprise. But
I just want to preface every single thing I'm about to say about Gale with, I am autistic.
right,
This is not me taking pot shots at somebody else, but I will say that my friend came over to play the game. The moment Gale appeared, she did just look at me and go, "Oh, so everybody in this game is autistic." Yep.
it's just fascinating, different like how people and the fact that Gale is the most popular origin character that people choose, which is I've not played as an origin character
That's
yet,
interesting.
but I'll be interested to see how it goes. So my one top left is David Tennant. He was the last person. This was the last person I cast because I was trying to find someone who I didn't like enough and who looked like him a bit. But I decided.
No, how can you not like
Yeah.
David?
You don't like David?
I love
Tennant?
David Tennant. So let me
Okay.
finish that sentence.
That's all.
So I decided to
I
go
was
with.
worried there.
I'll choose someone who could make anyone lovable. Literally, if you put David Tennant anywhere, he can turn very little into magic if there's very little there, or if there's he can stand there like that and you'd go, oh, I love him so much, even if you have no idea who he is, because Gale's got to be that sort of seductive guy who makes you go, oh yeah, I like him. But then I think that kind of thing just rubs me up the wrong way for some reason. Interestingly, another doctor in the house
Indeed.
for Gale, who's number
And that
two.
was my pick, and that's Matt Smith, because he's quite zany in a similar sort of way. You can imagine him dealing with the lines that Gale has in a very amusing way, I think. But interesting that we've both gone for doctors. I guess that says something about the type of character that Gale is.
Yeah, it's just this mysteriously, massively powerful guy who appears out of nowhere in a box or in a portal, getting himself stuck in a portal.
That is something Matt Smith would do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then bottom left, I believe that's you, Finn.
That's Tim Downey. That's Gale's voice actor. I'm gonna die on this hill. He doesn't look like Gale, but this man, all that screenshot that you're seeing is just a selection of the many tours of his bookshelves that he does on TikTok. He has a library. He got stopped at customs traveling a few months ago because he had a suspicious number of books on him. He has a podcast all about folklore.
It's good.
He basically is the closest thing in our universe we're gonna have to Gale. So I am here for it. And he's an actor, so not just a voice actor. Like, he's been in Good Omens and stuff. So I think Tim Downey takes it for me.
One particularly awesome thing about Baldur's Gate 3, and the only thing I've seen similar to this kind of dynamic was with Lady D in Resident Evil 8, where the voice, the actor who plays her, has been catapulted up into stardom of themselves. So they, as an individual, have become incredibly popular with gamers and fans. It's not about, oh, and we're massive fans of the game and we liked that character. It's, oh, I enjoyed the game. I worship this actor now. And
she's Orin.
she is. She's Orin the Red. I love that. It's remarkable. It's a remarkable cast, even beyond the main characters. And they've got J.K. Simmons is.
I know.
And I thought, holy shit.
And Isaac.
Jason.
Oh gosh.
Isaac. I love him.
Jason Isaac.
Oh.
I just. Yeah.
It's one of those things where.
And
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, and it's quite funny that Neil Newbin is also in Resident Evil.
Yeah.
The Village. And I would say that is one of his weakest performances. Because the man can't do an American accent. He's trying. He's giving it his best, but it's just fun that they both came over to this project.
I do love when you'll play something through and then you look at a cast and go, oh my god, I didn't realise that was him, and then you play it back through. Or when you have someone like Neil Newborn, such an iconic performance, and then I played or watched Resident Evil 8 again and went, that guy's voice sounds familiar. Hey. It's always a nice surprise when you recognise someone's voices. Um, uh, bottom right. So is that you, Jem?
Yeah, so I felt the same about actor, like finding out that an actor, a surprising actor, was playing in something as with the film Legend, and discovering that Tom Cruise was the young hunk in that because I didn't really take any notice of him until later, because then obviously he became really famous after Top Gun and everything. But yeah, he was actually the young lad in Legend, which was a film I watched quite a few times when I was younger. Too young to, care. But I think it's also really interesting that what Finn was saying about, choosing people for the actors for the characters, because that was one of the things I really struggled with when I was thinking about doing this list, because for me the voice actors are the characters, and I think because I follow them, as you were saying, Matt, it's like I follow them on social media, and they've become sort of inextricably linked to the characters for me in my head. So when I had to think about like who was going to play it, I was like, well, obviously it's the voice actors. So I deliberately stepped away from that, but I'm glad you didn't, Finn, because I think that's just for this one. But I think it's really well done. So this is Richard Armitage, who I think looks quite a lot like handsome Gale. And as I am married to Gale, I feel like if I were to be married to him in the real world, then Richard would make a good a good place,
retroactive.
Yeah. I'm not sure how Daniel would feel about it, but he'd be offered car luck anyway.
I do feel like this one in particular is really representative of how people feel about the character and what they're getting out of him, because we have desperately trying to sparkle over the horribleness, charming man being charming and funny, autistic man info dumping at me, which is why I love him, and then handsome man
with piercing eyes, yes, and a beard. No, I did also think that I chose this picture because I think it was the one that made me think show how he looks like Gale. But I also think as an actor, he's sort of played characters that I think also have that kind of intellectual challenged soul, all of that's going on with Gale. So I have to say that I romanced him because I romanced him. He wasn't necessarily my top romance choice. I think it's really important that that my character might have romanced him this time round, and I don't know whether it would happen again, and I don't know who Jem would romance in there. So I think that's also quite interesting that I got to a point where I did actually want to explore other relationships, and he was so like, no, you can't leave me, and I was like, no, I can't. But I have a lot of issues when it comes to romancing in games, but we've talked about that before.
So you've not played a playthrough as Jem?
No.
Interesting.
I don't think I've done a playthrough as Finn.
I do every first playthrough as me.
Yeah.
Oh, I have a default Dungeons and Dragons character.
Oh, I see, right.
Himbo bard named Nadani, so
Nice.
Nadani is the first pick on everything like this.
Yeah, interesting. I think that's probably the healthiest way to approach the opportunity that these kind of games offer, because for most of my life I couldn't do anything other than be as nice as possible to everyone and try and make everyone happy. It's just a reflection of the way that I'd been brought up to approach life, whereas it's much healthier to be able to choose to go right. What I could do anything else, and practice that. Practice that with this. I'll close it just again with another irritating thing that irritated me about a Gale. Just another like explanation of it. I kicked him out of my camp as soon as I could because he kept on going for my first playthrough when I didn't know anything about anyone, because he just kept on going like, give me a magical item. I won't tell you why. Just sacrifice these magical items to me.
Oh yeah.
I
was quite suspicious.
Boots.
Yeah. you sicko. But his big upside is that if you get him to the big, damn, I can't tell you. I won't spoil it for you, Alex. He's got a very big.
I don't mind.
You sure?
I know that. Yeah.
So his heart can one-shot kill
Yeah.
the final boss. And I tried that once, and ooh, did you not know? The downside is everyone dies.
No, the downside is only everybody dies if you do it in Act 2. If you do it at the end, then it's a noble sacrifice. But I've seen Tim Downey, the actor, read the letter that you get at the after party.
Oh, really?
He does that, and I cried. So I don't even think I can do that in my honor mode run.
Oh wow.
I'll have to look back
It
at
didn't even cross my mind, even when he said, "I'll do that for everyone," and I was just like, "No, we'll find another way."
Yeah, I tried it. The first time I tried that was at the end of Act 2, but then all of the everyone like turns into the mind flayers and attacks everyone. You go, oh, okay, I'll reload that save, and go from there. Right, we'll move on to.
How lucky I was to have known someone like you. That's the line.
Oh. Oh yeah, doesn't he? He sends his like ghost self to the party.
Oh no, that's if he's a god.
Oh yeah.
Astral god Gale shows up. And Tara is not happy about it.